Hello and welcome to the second in a potentially long, boring series of Slam Dunklers Podcasts. Once again, this is Joe Shea here with John Blevins.
Hey, what's up?
John. We got some decent feedback from the last podcast. We had 60-something views on the YouTube page. We got a bunch of Facebook likes, 30-ish or something. And then, I figured enough people probably didn't get sick of us yet, so we'll see how many episodes it takes before we alienate everyone.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get that done now.
Yes. So, one piece of feedback, actually, I did get some feedback from someone, and the individual said that I had, we had talked about the women of Pittsburgh a lot, and the person was kind of, the person was kind of, shocked and taken back by it, and, it wasn't as much, magic, packed into the 25-minute podcast as he had expected.
Sure.
So I'd like to start off this one by discussing the one woman in Pittsburgh that was good enough to make it on the Wikipedia page for Pittsburgh for entertainer, and that is Christina Aguilera. She is a Pittsburgh woman. Is she a dime, Blevins? Is she a
She's a Duquesne dime for sure. I mean, yeah, it's Christina Aguilera. I mean, if she wasn't like 70, I'd totally be all over that.
All right. Yeah, I mean, not really much to segue there. I mean, I wish we could have had a discussion about the women of Pittsburgh, the famous ones, and things like that. There's one.
I
tried. I did about 19 minutes of research.
That's way more than that. Oh,
I know.
Was worth.
I know, but there you go.
It's okay. Yeah. They're beautiful no matter what we say, and boy, do we say a lot.
So yes, this will just show you that, any feedback we get, we will respond with, and, meet the needs that, whatever the individuals want. I don't know if he wanted more women of Pittsburgh or less, but,
he got about the maximum there. There's nothing else to say.
We're tapped out.
We're tapped out. We're spirit hands right now. We got nothing. Spirit fingers. We got nothing in our hands. Tapped out. You're up.
So there's some major news about the M14 spoiler. A couple cards have been spoiled. Mainly slivers.
Yeah, who cares about that?
Exactly, who cares about slivers?
So I want. This is what I want to say about slivers, and I kind of want to put it to rest. People message me all the time and talk to me. They're like, "Oh my God, John, what do you think about slivers? They don't look like slivers. Oh, they're so stupid, and oh, they affect yours. What happened to old slivers?" I'm like, "All right, I don't give a shit. It does not matter to me whatsoever. Like the whole flavor behind it, the whole like mythos behind it. I would, like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I would play Magic if it were just a bunch of like flashcards with text on them. I don't care about the art. I don't care about the lore. If I cared about that stuff, I'd be playing Kaijudo right now."
All right, that's fair enough. I mean, I think, the art does add some things to it in the storyline.
Sure.
It adds, but I mean, I don't.
It does, but I just don't
necessary.
care. Okay. At all about it.
But did you see any other spoilers? The a couple of the rares, Scavenging Ooze.
That's the big one. That's sick.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of disappointed because I'm pretty sure it's a duels the Planeswalkers promo.
Yes, that's what I heard as well.
So I'm disappointed for all the people who have those. How much are they? Like 40 or so? They were 40. I haven't checked in a while.
Yeah, they've been 30-ish for a while.
Yeah, so those will definitely drop way down. How low? That's for another person to figure out.
I mean, honestly, I think in terms of the sliver, the Scavenging Ooze.
Yes.
It's strange because I've heard different sources saying it's a mythic, some saying it's just a rare. If it happens to be a mythic, I think that people won't get burned on Scavenging Ooze because as soon as it comes out, I mean, it will see play in a lot of standard decks. It will be, sought after for modern, and as a result, the demand is going to be there initially. So I could see a price spike going up to $40, maybe $45 when, the first, couple weeks, just so people struggling with those cards. Personally, I'm going to be moving mine, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because, now's the time for me to do it. I mean,
it's not even a different art.
Exactly. It is the same art, which, I thought they would have, maybe shown some effort because, it was a commander thing. It'd be nice to have the two different versions separate.
Yeah, and the art for Scavenging is like alright, but it's like so, like, ingrained in our mind, so it's like, they should have done something. They should have done something with it. But yeah, like, it's good for the people that don't have any and want them, but like, making it a duels promo, like I remember when the Duels 13 or whatever the newest one is came out, Jim at Collector's Inn was just selling he wasn't selling them, but he had a bunch of the
prize packs or promo packs.
The promo packs that he was just giving away as prizes and stuff. So basically long story short, I ended up with like 10 Vampire Nocturnuses within like the first week, and then he got more after that. So like, if I can do the same thing with Scavenging Oozes, I will snap do that.
That seems pretty good. I don't know how much Modern you play, but what do you think the implications of Ooze in Modern will be? Do you think that will change much?
I think it definitely has the possibility to. Deathrite Shaman already warped the format in terms of what you can and can't play for graveyard decks. So I think that Scavenging Ooze is going to do a similar amount of damage.
Them two combined are just going to destroy any graveyard decks.
Any graveyard decks are really you're going to need a very, very good reason to be playing a graveyard deck, once M14 comes out with Scavenging Ooze. It's just, like, I don't know exactly to what extent it'll be, but, cause I don't play like a ton of Modern, I'm not really updated on the current meta, but it'll definitely do work.
Yeah, there will be some drastic changes in the format. I mean, it's definitely something that will hurt brewing, I think, because, graveyard, graveyard, it is an area, a play area that, is often utilized, but
yeah,
it just seems locked out of Modern right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I even disagree with it, cause like, so there was a time when using the graveyard was really cool and interactive and sweet, and then, like, if you're playing a graveyard deck now, it's more than likely just degenerate. So, like, I don't know if they printed Scavenging Ooze for price reasons, like they wanted to get it out to more people.
No, I doubt that was the case.
Yeah,
the
I doubt it
demand was actually pretty slowish. For a point, it was actually $40 and like the hot card. Like the people were saying it was gonna be like the new Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
And what happened was people realized that Tarmogoyf was actually better when when none of the reliquary decks weren't as popular in Legacy and so forth. Because if you didn't need to eat those lands or things like that, Goyf was just always better.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's going to be like the same sort of thing. There's going to be a big hype for it when it comes out, and then I feel like it's more of a card that puts a suppressor on potential decks rather than
damages current
ones, or like you're not going to be like, oh, I got my Scavenging Ooze, now I'm going to just crush. It's like, well, people aren't playing the decks that Scavenging Ooze crushes because Scavenging Ooze exists. That's like the type of card it is.
Yeah, I mean,
like
it still dies to a bolt, and kill spells are a lot more common in Modern than Legacy.
Right, and like it's not gonna hit a whole lot. Like I guess it stops. I guess it does stop the Malirapod, because you can hit their Kitchen Finks or whatever when it's in the graveyard on persist trigger, but. Like that might put a damper on our good pal DMAC deck. Dude, it just won a GP. It literally won GP Portland.
Yeah.
Not even a week ago.
Clearly, I'm a
Joe Shea on top of things,
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
it might win it. That's fine, but it's not like a very talked about, very very played deck.
I don't know, man. DMAC also top eighted the top 8 with that, or the same big event. There are two Malirapods in the top 8
of the that PTQ. Yeah.
No, not a PTQ of GP Portland.
In the GP. Wow, I'll be damned. I clearly am not doing my homework.
Clearly, you don't. Did you even know that DMAC top 8'd?
In what?
At GP Portland.
At the Grand Prix?
No, the other thing that GP stands for.
Are you serious? I'll be damned.
Check it right now, man. Dan McDonald.
I am gonna have to. I'll be damned, man.
It's gonna be funny if he like watches or like listens to this somehow, and then he's like, how the fuck does this asshole even know who I am, bro? Eh?
That's great. I mean, I can't figure out, who exactly. Wow, he topped Ford.
Yeah, he topped Ford.
Yeah, I can't figure out who makes all those very, very offensive
tokens.
Offensive tokens. I need to message him to see who's making them and figure out what their thought process is on it, because, it's strange hearing, or seeing another person's perspective on, like an American tragedy, because he's Canadian, so he doesn't have the same natural American reaction to something that happens, like the Sandy Hook shooting or the Boston Marathon bombing.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think there'd be some sort of like human connection, but it's whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I also don't know if it's him. So yeah. that should be paid.
Him or one of his associates.
Yeah. I mean, I also I've only interacted with that like crew twice. I guess there's one of his friends is like a semi-popular streamer who's, a douchebag.
Hope he's listening. He'll probably agree with you.
I don't want to name names because I don't want to embarrass Dagger 4.
On that note, the tragedy note, not what's his streamer name?
Oh, Dagger 4.
Dagger 4. Make sure you check out the Dagger 4 stream.
Yeah, no, don't.
Don't?
No, it's like it's whatever. It's not important. Let's just move on.
Okay. On the note of tragedies, a recent Magic card collection was stolen from
oh yeah,
from Eli Kassis. And,
yeah.
Eli's a Binghamton player. He's always around Buffalo for the PTQs.
Yep, he's at
Rochester, Syracuse, things like that. I mean, he's all over the place. He's
well known.
Yeah, he's relatively well known, and just generally a nice guy. I've talked to him on occasion. It seems nice, but the specifics of the story are kind of scary, because he apparently parked his car at the Grand Prix, got out to register, things like that. Came back and they broke into his car and stole about $80,000. I have estimates $50,000 to $100,000 worth of Magic cards. Beta.
I heard it was even more than that.
I mean, it might have been. I mean, it's
like
hard
an insane amount of Magic cards.
Yeah, I mean, just lots of foreign foils. Miscut duels, miscut basics. I mean, things you have a hard time just putting a price on.
Yeah,
things you can't replace.
Yeah,
and that's pretty awful. I mean, I want to send him a message, but like I don't really know him that well, and
yeah,
what do you even say?
Yeah, I was gonna go up and say something to him at the PTQ, but like you said, I'm like, I don't really know him, and I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry to hear about your collection. He'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah, like
who's that shitty?
Yeah, who's that idiot that's probably gonna just scrub out of this PTQ? I hope I beat him. No, but it's terrible. Like, and it had to have been someone he knows. He apparently, so like the last update I had was he knows. He's relatively sure who it is. He put out a thing on Facebook that the person has until 2 p.m. on whatever day. This was like a week or two ago to fess up, and there won't be charges pressed. Just want the cards back. Like, we'll give you the reward. It's so much, like, because like even if he goes to the authorities and they know who did it and they find it, like they can just seize the cards and he won't get his cards back because it's evidence or whatever. Yeah. He would rather just pay the crook off. Yeah. For whatever amount and just get his cards back. That's his main goal. Like, cause it's so much, and they're so, like, you can't rebuy the miscut Underground Sea. Like, that's not a thing that exists. Yeah, I mean, he's got the one.
It's unbelievable. When, the first time I saw his collection, I was blown away. Just lots of just rarities and such obscure cards. Yeah. And, like the miscut stuff, like, actually, like, looking at his stuff actually got me into, like, picking up miscuts when I see them and things like that. But, I thought about it more. I've actually been doing a lot of thinking about this because it's, something that's, relatively close to me because I do a lot of trading and, have an okay collection and things like that. But, I've never traded with him. I've never seen him at a trade table, like, at all. Yeah. So, I mean, I have to imagine he's not ripping off, not ripping off bad traders, not ripping off little kids. He probably buys these cards, and it gets even even worse when the guy's spending face value on every single card he's
right. Getting. Yeah,
especially go ahead.
Yeah. From what I've heard, he buys collections on like eBay and stuff. This is just from what I've heard. I don't know like specifically, but yeah, like it's insane.
Yeah, I mean that's. Honestly, I really hope that, I hope he gets it back, and, I hate hearing stories like this, so I hope that, they stop happening, but, I mean, Magic's an expensive game at times with, a lot of these older cards.
Yeah. Yeah, from what I heard, he, like, knows who did it, and he contacted the, authorities, and the last I heard is that he's got a detective on it, but that's really all I heard. So I'm hoping for the best for him.
Gotcha. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean, I wish, I don't wish that on any Magic player. It's such an awful thing because I mean that it would just suck to lose someone from the Magic community because all their stuff got stolen.
Yeah, especially like a lot, like a living's worth of stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's. More money than most people make in a year. More money than probably making 2-3 years, and it's just in Magic cards. And to just lose it all on the spot because someone literally targeted him for theft. I mean, this isn't something that you can really be. It's not a random crime. It's not like someone grabbed a deck box. Like they knew.
They knew who it was. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, when the guy pulls in 10 minutes later, his collection's gone. Like they targeted that car. And, yeah, I mean, just awful.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. On a lighter note, it's hard to transition from that. I have a random situation. I thought I'd explain. This is maybe improve someone's play, maybe maybe not, whatever. I was watching a couple people play at FNM, and one of them was playing Boros aggro, or ultra quick aggro decks. When I was playing Grixis Control, probably the slowest deck in the format. So yeah, the player who was playing the Grixis deck, Vinny Shabetta.
Of course.
It was a deck that I built. I let him use for an FNM. He seemed to like it. It's a fun deck. It's powerful and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's playing Rails Eric, Augur Bolas, general things like that.
Sure.
Just value cards and just drop some bomby planeswalkers and win off that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's facing down an Ash Zealot that just swung. And it was 2 Ash Zealots that swung. One got through for 2 damage, and then one got chump blocked by an Augur. And then he untaps, casts Rails Eric, bolts one of the
Ash Zealots.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's only one Ash Zealot. There's only one Ash Zealot. He bolts the only Ash Zealot in play. The story's completely screwy now. Just imagine a board state with one Ash Zealot in play, an Augur Bolas in play on my side, and I tap out for Rails Eric on turn 4 or 5.
Okay.
I kill the I kill the one Ash Zealot, and then empty board.
Yeah.
He proceeds to attack for 1, and I couldn't figure out why. Getting the 1 damage in, it's always good to maximize your damage.
Yeah.
It's almost it's a lot of people just miss damage, and that ends up costing games and things like that. But when you play with a control deck, life total doesn't really matter. Their life total, it generally doesn't matter, because you get to a point where you grind the game out, and then you cast your big spells, and ideally that you've got counter magic and card advantage built up, so you just you put them in a state where they can't win.
Right.
But he proceeded to attack. I asked him later on, and he said the other person had played two Ash Zealots already, and he didn't think the person was going to top deck another one. Of course, the person top decks another one. I mean, there's Legion Loyalists in the format. There's Ash Zealots. I mean, there's 5.
A ton of haste. There's a lot of haste creatures in the format right now.
Yeah, so I mean, there's 5 draws off the top that will hit Rails Eric and force you to +1 him next time. Right. Instead of getting another bolt out of it. So of course this person rips the Ash Zealot off the top and proceeds to kill Rails Eric. Hilarious. I just cracking up because I knew it was going to happen. I was praying it happened just as a life lesson for someone who's been playing for 20 years Magic. You might as well learn something here and there, or not. Right.
No, not to mention the fact that trading trading your 1 damage for their 2 is never good anyway. Like,
yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's not that the Ashdot was in play, but you have to play around the possible top deck.
Right.
Because if it happens, you lose your Relzeric.
Yeah. If it happens, he's screwed. If it doesn't happen and he leaves this guy back, it's like, oh, I missed 1 damage. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, and 1 point of damage when, Nicol Bolas,
right.
Blows up every permanent they own. You know, it's just so much value to get out of it. You need to make it to the late game. You need to protect all your power cards, your Relzerics, your Tamios, things like that. You need to make sure they're safe. And that 1 damage, more often than not, it's not going to come back to hurt you.
Yeah, you're usually doing your damage in chunks, or you're milling them, or something like that.
Exactly.
Where the 1 is not going to matter.
Yeah, just, milling is another option. There were a couple drawn yards in there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that happens, it loses the Xeric. And then, he ends up stabilizing again. He ends up taking like another 2 damage off the Ashdot in a later turn. Or something like that. And then, he stabilizes, and, he's playing a Niv Mizzet Draco Genius. And Niv's getting in there for a bunch. So Vinny's got the opponent down to like 7 or something. So the opponent's got 1 chance, and it's ripping a Boros Charm off the top and doming for 6.
Yeah.
And it happened. It was great. It was
nice.
And it was such a great thing to watch, because he said at the end of the game, I got unlucky. And he's 100% right. He got very unlucky in that situation. He lost to a couple top decks at the wrong times.
But he put himself in a position to lose.
If you put yourself in a position to lose and you're unable to do the assessment and understand why, you're stuck just saying, well, I got unlucky. Yeah. When, you did, but, you're not maximizing your play and putting yourself in a position to win.
Yeah.
If you give the other person outs, you can't be unhappy when they get them.
Exactly.
There's no reason to let them play off the top when you can end the game. There's no reason to put yourself, 2 or 3 life lower than where you could be.
Right.
One less permanent than you could have. Because, in games against these, the aggro decks now, it's literally about just making sure you have enough permanents in play. Just enough chump blockers, enough value cards. Like Planeswalkers, you need them to stay in play 2 or 3 turns before they really get their value.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, Relzeric, bolt something, and then, saving 2 life off, an Ashdot swing is great. That's pretty much exactly what you want to do off casting him. But
right.
if you can say, oh wait, I'll let him stay in play another 2 turns, and, maybe give me some extra mana, maybe slow your guys down a bit, maybe just throw another bolt and kill a second dude. That is value.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and like, on the other side of the spectrum, when people get mad that you, top decked a card, to win, it's like, well, I put myself in a position to win in the game, to top deck.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Part of it is, you'll sometimes, make enough plays to stay alive, enough turns to draw that out.
Right.
And, sometimes you just get lucky. And you know what? That's the very nature of Magic. And if there's a luck element, and if you're not okay with the luck element, you're never going to be able to play at any serious level. You're never going to be able to play and have fun, because you have to understand that you're going to lose games you're not supposed to lose. You're going to win games out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch me play. I win games I don't deserve to win.
How much damage have you taken off Dark Confidant lifetime? I'll give you a hint. I can count it on 0 hands.
Yeah, some players are just, naturally lucky, and, it's a joke I don't take damage off Confidant, and it's absurd the number of Confidant flips I'll just hit land after land after land. But, sometimes if you play, and the luck element's gonna get you. Sometimes you're gonna flip over a 4-drop or a 5-drop, and that's gonna kill you. Sometimes you're gonna, leave it to a top deck and get lucky. Sometimes you're gonna get unlucky, and that's the way it is. But, accept it, but at the same time, try not to put yourself in a position where the other person has outs, or maximize your outs. And that's really all you can ask for. That's,
yep.
It's something that comes with time, and it's something that comes with experience.
Yep.
And, more importantly, it comes with being honest with yourself and analyzing your games.
Yep, definitely. That's like one of the best ways to improve your game, is to take into account variance and all that good jazz we just talked about.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be helpful for most people or anyone, but, you know, I mean, it's an important thing to realize if you're, you know, you're going to be playing Magic on a competitive
level. It's
helped
me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, it's a lot better when you rip a top deck and win as opposed to having someone else do it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, and all you can do is just learn to maximize your outs.
Yep.
You know, deck knowledge, know what you're playing, know what you need to draw, know how many turns you have left.
Absolutely.
If you're down, know what their important cards are. You know, I mean, those are the ways you can actually have a chance. You know, in especially in bad matchups or games where you draw poorly. You know, drawing out's a very, very good strategy to have if you accept the fact that you're in trouble.
Yep. That's how. So I learned this like really well with in Pauper. I was playing the Delver of Secrets mirror, and the deck list. You don't really need to know it. You just need to know that
plays 4 Delver.
It plays a bunch of Delvers. It plays a bunch of like little flying guys that are at most 3 power. So the only card in the mirror that matters is Spire Golem. And I've played against people, and I've played with the deck when I didn't know this, and I've played against people who don't know that. And when you know that and your opponent doesn't know it, it's literally impossible to lose.
What's the card? Spire Golem?
Spire Golem. It's a 6 mana, 2/4 flyer, affinity for islands.
Okay.
So when he gets down, game 1, there's no way the deck can kill it. It's just on the field forever. It can never be killed through when it blocks. It can never, unless you attack into a bunch of guys and they double block, can't die. So with that out, you can't lose. And my opponent just chose to ignore this. He would waste his counter spells on Delvers and other things, and I'd stick a Spire Golem, and he'd be like, "Oh, I can't win." So, but just knowing the matchup and knowing what cards matter in the matchup, and knowing for limited, knowing the types of cards that matter is very important. But that's all stuff that you learn with a lot of experience and just playing and playing and playing.
I was glad we got to actually touch on some more kind of in-depth Magic strategy and things like that today, because I had no in our last little podcast we were kind of all goofy and making fun of people and things like that. So I like
that much better.
I know, and we have to make fun of people and at the same time talk about Magic,
this is true.
Strategy stuff. So John, anything you'd like to talk about in particular?
So I've got this. I got this story. It happened last night at draft. I got scumbagged out, and I kind of want to know what
draft where, John?
Draft at Dark Forest Games.
Okay.
Just a casual Wednesday draft. It's nothing too serious, and you need to know that for the story to kind of make sense. Because if this were a GP or something, the situation would be completely different. So I'm playing against this guy, no idea who he is, never met him, never seen him at the store or anything. And he's got a what's that card? The 1/5 flyer.
Switches power and toughness.
Switches power and toughness. I'm going to find it in just 2 seconds because I've got Magic on my own. He has. Do I seriously not own this card? Okay, well, there we go. Flux Charger, that's right. He has a Flux Charger out and a Rakdos Drake Unleashed. I'm getting beat down. Basically, if he plays a instant or sorcery to flip its power, I'm on a 2-turn clock. So I've got a bunch of ground guys, so I can't really do anything about it. So he goes, I've got I think I have between 3 and 4 cards in my hand. He goes, Skullrend, the one that target player discards 2 cards at random and takes 2 damage. So I'm like, okay. So the way it works is Flux Chargers, Power Toughness swap trigger goes on the stack, and then, Skullrend goes on the stack, then on top of it, Flux Charger's ability goes on the stack. So I go, okay, Flux Charger's ability's on the stack. I go, are you switching its power and toughness? He goes, what? I go, are you making this a 5/1? He goes, oh, yeah. I go, okay, that resolves. It's a 5/1. Gruul Charm, mode 3 damage to all creatures with flying. He goes, okay, puts his Rakdos Drake in the graveyard. And I'm like, waiting for him. And I'm like, that guy's dead. He's like, no, it's not. I go, yeah, it's a 5/1. He's like, no, I didn't choose to switch. And now my friend Ben is sitting right next to me, heard the whole thing happen, is watching the game, and we both go, I'm pretty sure you said yes. And he goes, no, I didn't switch it. Why would I switch it? I go, whatever. Scoop. Just concede the game. The rest of the match is unimportant. I end up crushing him in game 2 and then losing like a long drawn out game that he should have won turns earlier and like turn 15 in game 3. But I think I handled it in a way that was different than most people would handle the situation. And it's definitely different. I want to put a disclaimer out here. If this sort of thing happens at a GP or a competitive REL event, you just immediately call a judge when something like this happens. There's no question about it. You just call a judge. Hopefully the judge can decipher the situation and rule it in the correct favor. But this is a casual draft where I'm virtually infinite in terms of store credit, so I don't really care if this guy wants to scum a win off me. You know what? You got it. He paid the iron price now because little does he know, I'm the loudest motherfucker around. I have a podcast which you're currently listening to. I stream.
No one's listening.
No, it's true. It's just, I'm talking to me and you right now.
I'm aware of this guy now.
I'm friends with everyone in the store. I'm close personal friends with the store owners. I'm literally going to be living at Dark Forest in 2 months. So you done goofed for scumming over Blevins. Yeah, so, but I'm like, but how I handled it at face value was like, whatever, scoop. And he's like, no, I really didn't say yes. I'm like, that's fine. I don't care. Just scooped him up, played the next games. Like, a lot of people, I think, would have either raged or just made a huge deal out of it. And like, I'm thinking, this is what's gonna happen. So I go, say we're at a random store that neither of us have an affiliation to. We don't know the judges. No one was watching the game.
Yeah.
It's a he said, she said thing. Mm-hmm. Did he, clearly what the judge has to determine is why, like where did the miscommunication happen?
Yeah.
And was it, is this guy just trying to scum, or did he really just mess up?
Yeah.
And who messed up?
Yeah, I mean, a big thing to take into account too is, the reason you play the 1/5 is, generally to turn him into a beater when the guy doesn't have flyers.
Yeah.
If a guy has no flyers, there's no reason to not switch his power and toughness, which would be the question I would ask.
Right.
I'd be, do you switch power toughness? No. Why not? And you ask that question.
Playing around an uncommon from the middle set. Like the guy didn't know that if he forgets to untap his land that he asked me game 1, oh, do I get to untap? I'm like, yeah, you can't not untap. Like, so clearly he was not playing around Gruul Charm.
Not playing around any card.
He wasn't playing around anything. And then he tried to say, oh, I cast the Skull Rend to see what you had in your hand first, and then I was going to switch power and toughness. And I'm like, that's not how the card works, man. Just read just learn how to play.
Yeah.
But, so like, I didn't get mad at him. I just, hopefully am doling out the punishment he deserves.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good thing when, you're going to be new to an area or new to a store, and, you go to a draft, and you make, a bad first impression.
Right.
I mean, it's going to happen. Sometimes you're going to.
That's a terrible first impression.
Or do something that's wrong, but like you can't have questionable, gaming morality. In
right.
Case.
And
you
like
can't put yourself in a position where people are going to be talking about you.
Right.
Because you might have done something bad.
And, like, I'm very clearly tilted because he's like, oh, I said no. I'm like, whatever, scoop. And, like, he didn't try to, like, he didn't come up to me afterwards like, oh, I'm sorry for the miscommunication, like, blah, 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 like, this is what happened, or anything like that. Just, you know, casually just ignored. And, like, what, like, got me, like, tilted, but I didn't do anything about it. He, like, after he, like, so, he basically had the black rare Pontiff that gives all your guys extort.
Yes.
He had that out for like 5 turns and had like 3 guys out, was just casually not extorting his spells. He was extorting them for 1 instead of like 5. So like,
you gotta save that mana, John.
And then he put me in a position where if he doesn't mind rot me, I win. But he randomly mind rot after Drain Pipe vermining me. He's playing like a discard deck. It was like the weirdest, like worst deck I've ever seen. But he puts me in a position to win where I had no like reason to even be in the game.
Yeah. You should have scooped it up a while ago.
I should have scooped up a while ago, but he like blocks terribly this one turn, and like I'm like I get him down to 2 or something. I'm like if he doesn't mind rot my 2 cards, I win. Like if I keep any number of cards, I win. And then like so he finally like figures out like and like he's looking at his hand sideways the whole time. So I'm like, oh, he has Toil and Trouble. So he finally gets it to a point where Toil and Trouble kills me. And then when he wins, he's like, oh, that was so close. I can't believe I won. And like, I just wanted to strike him, but I didn't.
Yeah, it's been a rough week for the Dunklers apparently, because I had a situation, not so similar, but it was a rough situation of being involving someone who clearly had no idea what he was doing and had no reason to be talking at all.
Yeah, well, we already talked about Vinny's game.
Ouch. I did not see that one coming.
Much love, Vinny. Much love.
Much love. Yeah, so I was doing a two-headed giant thing on Tuesday, at Collectors with Kai. So, we played open just trash. We've fought down decks that were just dealing 6 on turn 2. Mm-hmm. Didn't know it was possible, like, in any format that didn't play double bolt.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, the decks were fast and things like that, whatever. It was a fun time. Glad I got to play with Kai, and I learned a lot, stuff like that. But, there was no real judge there.
Right.
So, generally anyone had a question, they would, ask me, and I'm the closest thing to a judge.
L1, I guess.
L1-ish. But, a couple random questions. Like one was Rubble Belt Raiders or whatever. That gets the
plus one counters.
Yeah, that gets the trigger when something attacks.
Yeah.
When it attacks, excuse me. So, a person wanted, guy swings and says, in response to the trigger, I want to, piercing arrows do 4 damage to target attacking creatures to, kind of, kill it and screw up his combat math and things like that. So the guy says, no, you can't do that. That's not how it works. So they call me over and, I explain to him how it works.
Yeah.
The guy tells me I'm wrong. I've never seen him before. I mean, just because I don't know the guy doesn't mean that he has no idea what he's talking about or anything.
But clearly he doesn't because,
But clearly he doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, I'm willing to give people the benefit of the doubt because, maybe they're new to Buffalo or new to the area,
mm-hmm.
but, not new to Magic, and I accept that that's possible and, as a result, maybe the guy's right, whatever, so I double checked. I was like, no, I'm very confident that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So he tells me, no, I'm wrong, so I explain it again, and he's like, okay, whatever. I think you're wrong, but, that's fine, we'll do it that way. I was like, okay, whatever. So, I get called over again, and this one was strange, cause like, I was second guessing myself. It was such a trivial question.
Mm-hmm.
A guy swings with like swings with a ground dude.
Mm-hmm.
Other guy blocks. He says, "Okay, after you block, I'm gonna play. The general give your guy flying spell.
Yeah.
In white, whatever. Give your guy flying.
Uh-huh.
And he says, well, you can't block it. And he says, no. I declared him as a blocker. He's blocked.
Mm-hmm.
So I explained it a few times. I did a football player analogy in which, 2 players are grappling, and, if you give wings to the offensive player and he starts flying, he's still being grappled.
Yeah.
So he's technically blocked. I mean, I wasn't the best analogy, but it's the best I could
works,
think of at the time. Yeah. So, he disagreed with it. He's like, just like telling me to my face, like, you're wrong. And like, I've never been so, like, no one's ever told me I was wrong in such an aggressive manner, like, in my life.
When they were wrong.
Well, I mean, like, even if I were, like, I've been wrong on, a decent amount of things in life, as everyone has. My teenage years, my college years, my grammar school years,
your hairstyle choices, your lifestyle choices, the fact that you're playing Magic, the fact that you're doing a podcast, the fact that you know me. I mean, we could go on.
Yeah, I mean, the only good decision I've had in my life is playing Vengevine.
No, Pure Steel Paladin was a good choice.
Pure Steel was good. Yeah, I've been okay with deck choices here and there. But, yeah, like, I was like just in shock that this guy was like just belligerently like telling, like, no, you're wrong. And I'm like, just saying it like aggressively. I was taken back by it. And, he's like, yeah, I mean, it's this other guy. I was like, you realize that, I don't think he was aware that, like, there's actual Magic judges and, that there's, actual rules and not, whatever rules you and your friends come up with at the tabletop.
He just thinks whoever has the best deck makes the rules.
Yeah, I mean, if two guys have icy manipulators out, the first guy that says tap it gets to tap the other one.
Oh, okay.
That's how it works, apparently. But, it was rough. I mean, it's hard, and I doubt any new players will be listening to this, but, for anyone who's playing in, goes to a new location, or, another store for an event or something, it's very important to make sure that you try to be friendly, you try to, be understanding.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be in a situation where you don't give people a reason to dislike you. I mean, most Magic players are very socially awkward and lack people skills. I mean,
it's just tiptoe around this.
I mean, most people are very awkward. I mean, They're very introverted and things like that. But, I think all Magic players are kind of, accepting of, other people until you give them a reason to actively dislike you. They won't. The Magic community, from my experience, is one of the most accepting, open communities that I will ever see in my life. Mm-hmm. And, there's no reason to make yourself a target for dislike because you're not compromising, you're not understanding, you're not unwilling to listen and maybe give people the benefit of the doubt. In your case, the guy, he probably should have been, more clear on things, and he probably, he might have been, just try to cheat you on it. He might have just, been unsure. I mean, you said a couple of times he seemed like unsure what he was doing and things like that. But, I mean, even still, if it's unclear on that, he needs to be better at, communicating things. And, in the future, you need to, well, not you, but it's the collective you needs to, just be more aware of what people say and what they mean and what they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of judge calls, about the, the he said, she said kind of thing, they come down to, what person was trying to be the most clear.
Right.
Because it's always a judgment call, and you have to figure out who is actually trying to, gain on this and who's not. Mm-hmm. Just a quick breakdown of the situation of yours. It's, why would you cast, to say, I cast, I cast my Gruul Charm and I hit both of them, the guy's gonna be like, oh, no, I didn't. No, you didn't, you only hit the one. And explaining the situation, there's no reason for you to try to snake an extra guy out of it.
Right.
Whereas in his case, it makes sense for him to try to save his dude. Like, no, I didn't try to flip him because he's saving a guy. Mm-hmm. And that's something a judge would look at and would say, I'm not sure, who said what, but, based on the information, I have to lean towards it being this, and it'd rule in your favor, I would imagine, most of the time.
I would think so, too.
Yeah, again, I think you took a high road on that. I'm impressed that you were civil about it. You didn't yell, you didn't, make a scene or anything, and you tried to deal with it in a way that was good. It wasn't, the best for you in the situation. Maybe you lost some store credit on it. Maybe you were just gonna, lose anyway.
It's possible. I was in a pretty poor situation, but me 2-for-1ing him there was really helpful because it wiped his board.
Yeah, it would have been good. In this situation, maybe you would have came out, and won it. Maybe you would have lost it, but I think you handled it really well. And in the future, I hope people who get in a situation like this, try to be, more clear as to what the other person's intentions are, because especially newer players, because they don't always know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they just kind of, go on I assume this happened, I I think this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So be more clear, and as always, calling a judge is always the best thing to do, because they can help you out. They can make sure that other people are playing properly, aren't cheating you, or things like that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's if you could take anything away from this podcast, it's to call a judge when there's any problems, and don't be a dick to anyone.
Yes, that is. Except on the internet, you can be.
We're talking about in person here.
We're talking about in person in a match.
Yeah, I mean, if you're online, the gloves come off. You can say, do whatever you want. For any reason you want, or just for no reason.
Exactly.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Haters, in fact, gotta hate online.
Gotta hate.
Got it. So yeah, Johnny, you got anything else you'd like to talk about? Anything?
I have a couple more rants, but I think we should save it for another time because we're coming up on. This is a pretty long one, so I think we can
it's
save.
a lot longer than we expected.
I've got a like universal rant to go on at some point, but we can save that for another time.
Got you. I was gonna do one more quick little question for you.
Sure.
David Adams doing their 1K. It's like the first generally large event in Buffalo.
Besides the Star City, but yeah.
Well, besides the Star City, well, run in Buffalo,
sure.
by Buffalo,
yeah.
Things like that. One of the local things. How many people do you think are going to show up to it?
I've heard estimates of around 100.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if that many came up, if that many showed up. It's a pretty sweet tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a great turnout. The prizes are kind of insane. Like, I mean, $1,000, like
$1,000 cash money.
Yeah, this isn't like you're getting a couple boxes or whatever for first place. You're getting cash.
Yeah, that's always a way to get people to come in.
Exactly. Second to fourth get a good payout. Fifth to eighth get a box, things like that. There's going to be pizza. There's going to be a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
This is actually not a plug for the event.
No.
I was actually going to ask you what you were playing. If you had any idea, I don't think you do. You saw on Facebook, I asked Dean if he had a deck, and he shipped me a Grixis control list that looks pretty sweet. Okay.
So I might be playing that. If I can get the cards tomorrow, I'm going to be playing that.
Okay. You can talk to me offline about any cards you need, anything I can help with.
All right.
I'll be judging the event, so hopefully I can see people out there and things like that. I actually kind of worried that I think I'm the only judge working it. There's going to be 100-ish people, maybe. Even if there's like 60, that's still a lot for one judge. So.
Absolutely.
Hopefully it goes well, but hopefully the tournament goes well, because it'd be great to have Wizards say, hey, they ran this 1K or 2K, whatever you want to call it, and the turnout was pretty big, and maybe it can give Buffalo a PTQ.
Oh man, that'd be so awesome if Buffalo got a PTQ.
God forbid you don't got to drive an hour and a half to wherever.
That's the closest one. That is the closest one.
I mean, I guess like Millennium's an hour-ish.
Yeah, it's like an hour.
Yeah, I mean, hour, and then, picking people up, things like that, carpooling. I mean, it'd be nice to just wake up, get there in 10 minutes and just be, just be ready.
Oh, the Buffalo SCG was beautiful.
Yeah, it was a fun event, so hopefully the David Adams event goes well. I mean, I was at the Grand Prix trial, and they kind of hooked people up. I mean, they had pizza for everyone. They gave out door prizes to pretty much everyone. It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was actually the first time I had played Magic in a little while. I took a little time off because I was doing doing some judging and had some personal things come up. But it was a blast. So I have a great memory of Dave Adams so far. So hopefully the next one goes well.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, it definitely should be good. So hopefully the turnout's good. Hopefully people have fun. Hopefully someone who wins it deserves it, and if they don't, hopefully they got really lucky and played Trading Post.
61 card Elixir Trading Post ban. So like one last thing I want to I guess I'm going to call it a trifecta, even though I'm glaringly leaving out one of the stores of Dave and Adams, Collectors Inn, and Dark Forest Games have kind of created this internal battle, I guess. It's kind of nothing shady is going on, at least as far as I know. But so
I hope shady things go on in the future. I'd like to be involved in anything.
Absolutely would love shady things to go on.
You got to.
Ryan O'Donnell, the owner of Dark Forest Games, started what I think is a great idea for a marketing perspective and for just a player perspective of giving hotel fare, paying for the hotel for GPTs. So it makes your GPT, which normally not that big of an event, because not a ton of people in the Buffalo area go to GPTs.
Yeah, the buys are nice.
The buys are nice for the grinders, but normally you're not going to get a random person to go to a GPT, because a random person's probably not going to go to a GP, even if it's somewhere close like Pittsburgh. But throwing in the hotel as a grand prize for the GPT was a sweet idea. It got a lot of people to go to the GPT. Granted, it was a local GPT, but still. And that caused Collectors Inn to up the ante for their Las Vegas GPT, where they gave away hotel and half airfare to Las Vegas. So I don't think he's going to be able to do that again, because I'm pretty sure he lost out a bunch, but I'm not sure on the numbers. And it's kind of ironic because Ryan won that GPT.
Yeah, it was pretty strange. It was pretty awkward.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably a great event. I gotta say though, for events like that, if the turnout, stays big and gets big, if you can get like 30, 40 people to go to these Grand Prix trials, I don't think they'll think twice before, giving out hotel again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if people come out and the numbers are good, I could definitely see more hotels,
and that'd be awesome.
Or travel vouchers or something being given out.
If we could get like a circuit going where, the stores are getting enough money from the random people that are playing at these GPTs to actually basically pay for the upper echelon players to go and travel the country for the GPs would be fantastic. So hopefully the friendly competition between the stores is causing the environment to get to a point where it's benefiting the players, is what
it definitely is.
The underlying goal of.
Yeah, I remember, when I first started playing Magic, there was jesters, and then there was collectors, and when I heard about collectors, I looked at the situation and I made a decision, and David Adams really wasn't involved in Magic at all.
Yeah.
And then now, Joe's running collectors, and David Adams is being, very serious about Magic. That it's really a great time to be a player. Like, I mean, the community is thriving, and I think this goes back to the little discussion we had about the good performances of all these people at events.
Yeah.
The community has actually gotten very good. One thing I wish that would happen is, there's not so much infighting anymore or major beefs between people, but I wish there were more testing for bigger events and things like that. For PTQs, because I hate not seeing. Anytime I go to an event, I hate not seeing a Buffalo guy win it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guy or girl, I love to see someone win it.
Yeah,
every time. That's why I was ecstatic when Sky Ramowski.
Yeah, that was awesome.
At PTQ, it was great. Actually, I'm gonna hog a little minute here and say, Scott said, he's leaving, I think, tonight or something for the PT or the Pro Tour in San Diego, and he had talked to me about testing and things like that. He wasn't testing; he was testing a bunch of people online and things like that. He he asked me for cards and things like that. So I know Scott doesn't really play much, in terms of like on a weekly basis and things like that. He's one of those old guard guys who kind of did it old school for a while and things like that, like him and Thorne, Dio, and all those guys. And I'm really glad to see a Buffalo guy do well and make it. And I don't know how well he's going to do. It's block constructed, so I mean that's just
it's a wonky format.
Yeah, it's a mess. He's put a lot of hard work for it. So I like to I wish him luck. I hopefully other Buffalo people are become aware of who he is, because he had top 8'd the Star City Legacy event in Buffalo.
Yep.
Just a great player. Another great player. A lot of people aren't going to be aware of. So. I hope people, if they listen to it tonight or, tomorrow morning, they, check the stats on the Pro Tour and see, see if he's doing well.
Yeah.
Wish him well, if you see him, whatever. He's not on Facebook, so you can't, send him a message or anything.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's great to see guys do well. And, it really made me happy, to judge an event where he won it. I'd love to have, everyone, not everyone, but, I'd love to see someone, everywhere I go win events.
Yep.
It's a great feeling, cause it's great for them. I remember when I top aided that,
the PTQ.
That PTQ, it was unbelievable, cause like people were, like Jimmy Reed, random guys I kind of knew a little bit, but didn't know well, coming up to me, they congratulate me.
Yep.
That's an awesome feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So, I hope people, really value, each other in the community. And, realize that, you play FNMs against each other and, you try to, beat the crap out of all the players in your area, but at the same time, like, you're only as good as the guys you're playing with for the most part. It's hard to excel when you've got a bunch of players who aren't at your level. You can't get better. So, hopefully, the players in Buffalo community, keep up this growth and maturation process. And, we have guys, do well at Grand Prix. We have guys, win PTQs all over the place. And, I don't know really what there is, I could personally do to help, but, I try. I'd imagine like you'd try if, given the opportunity. So, for anyone who does want to do testing, get a hold of people, put it on the groups. People are always willing to test. People are always willing to bounce deck ideas off of, in terms of borrowing cards, people are generally getting, really good at that.
Yeah.
I know I try to help when I can, especially to people who, I know are going to really, take care of their cards, make sure they're, good on that and, going to appreciate it, cause we're kind of all Magic players and we're all in this together in a sense. I know it's all like, kind of like
kumbaya bullshit.
It is. It really is. It sounds like complete bullshit and I sound like a douche for saying stuff like that, but,
oh, good, man.
when you see a guy, make the Pro Tour, like that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it's
like,
definitely sweet.
Yeah, so let's hope, Buffalo guys do it up. Let's hope, someone local wins the one cat. I don't know if there's gonna be many guys traveling from other places, but, screw them.
Yeah, screw all the guys that aren't from Buffalo.
Unless they're listening in Dunkler fans.
Yeah, unless they're closet Dunkler fans. No, but, I know, Radijak and Bianchi and Jividan and all, like, that, like, group of people who is, like, they're relatively new compared to our, like, in-group of people.
Oh yeah.
They're newish guys, but they apparently have been testing, like standard and all that. Of course, I didn't get a phone call, but that's neither here nor there.
The silent omission of the Dunklers.
The silent omission of the Dunklers in the testing. But that's the sort of thing that, I've tried to start with when I first moved here. I started the serious test group that just failed because of fighting and other reasons. The Blevens page was never really meant to be a testing page, but instead to organize the casual drafts we were doing. But now that Ryan runs drafts, now that we can draft multiple times a week in a store, there's no real reason for us to film the drafts, except for me to grind, value on booster packs and reselling them. But that. The days of the $87 box are gone now that Jim's gone. Sadly.
No, boxes are like $90 still at a collector's, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not awful.
No,
but,
it's not bad. But it's hard to get people to draft at random times on the week when they could just draft.
Exactly. When the draft's available on Fridays and the draft's available on Saturdays
and Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays too. Yeah. So you pick a Tuesday or Sunday when you're free and try to get some people.
Yeah, and I'm never free on those days. Well, and then there's, you can either play Two-Headed Giant at Collectors on Tuesday, or you can play Modern. There's long story short, there's a Magic event every day of the week between the stores, basically. Except maybe Thursday doesn't have something, but yeah.
That's what D&D is for.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
But, I think, I don't know if anyone can take anything away from this rant storm we just threw out at you. But, I gotta say, just check the Facebook page again, send one of us a message, let us know what you think. I'll generally be doing most of the keeping in terms of, what to talk about, subjects, things like that, so shoot me a message. John's been doing a lot of streaming, so hit up his stream. What's that stream?
Yeah, twitch.tv/FATTWALL33. It's Fatwall33 with 2 T's, because, I'm an idiot and have misspelled fat.
Created this account 3 months ago. Still spelled it wrong.
Yeah. It's good times.
Yeah. Hopefully, you check out that stream, send us a message, hopefully, share the podcast with other people. hopefully, you guys get something out of it. I know I have fun doing it, so I'd like to keep doing it.
Yeah, it's fun. I feel like we're going to keep doing it even if we get 0 views, so
yeah.
If you're listening, you might as well send us suggestions because we're going to keep doing it regardless, so.
Yep. Let's hope we get to a point where all the little Dunklers around the Buffalo area start talking about us every Friday after you listen to our Thursday podcast. We'll be the talk. You'll have to listen to it. No one will know what else to talk to you about.
It's true. It's
like, you know how to dunkle? No. Well,
no. Hey, goodbye.
Yeah, you're in the O2 bracket. So, all right, John. Thanks for doing this again. I know we're trying to maybe do this on a weekly basis or something. Things keep coming up, but
for you, not for me. I never have anything to do. So
yeah, we did a double dip on this edition.
Yeah, this was a long one, so
yeah, there are a lot of things to talk about though. So it was very important.
It's true, and I've still got more to talk about, so we can do another one at some point.
Excellent. Yeah, let's aim for next week. So stay tuned and send us your feedback. Let us know what you think. Actually, you know what? Another thing you guys can send us, if you have any deck lists that you really like that you're playing from the new block of cards, new cards, maybe a Tristani Populate deck, and it's something that you like, something you want to play. Maybe we'll take a look at it, talk about it, make your suggestions.
I've got plenty of suggestions for a Tristani Populate deck.
Yeah, or something else, something random, maybe Mill or Secrets of the Dead kind of Burning Vengeance deck.
Yes.
I've wanted to build one of those for a while. So if you've got a deck idea, flesh it out a little bit, send it to us, we'll take a look at it. It'll give us something to talk about, give you some more feedback. And that's how brews happen. So John, we'll talk to you later, and thanks for recording with me.
All right, man, thanks. See ya.
Bye, everyone.